I'll let you all know when we are live. All right, we have returned from executive session related to a personnel matter and to receive legal advice on the personnel matter. Of course, no action was taken in executive session, but the matter that was under discussion has been a matter that's been on the minds of this council and this community for many months. Let me just briefly say that the most prudent decision that this council has ever made that I've ever been a part of was the hiring of Drew Griffin as city manager. You all can't see, but he is now hiding over in the corner with his back to me, so he doesn't hear this because that's his nature. But it's unfortunately, he's going to have to listen to it because I have the microphone. You all understand that the relationship between the mayor and city manager is a critically important one, and the relationship between the council and the city manager is critically important. And I also don't need to say that I don't think there is a better relationship, nor is a better city manager in the state of South Carolina. We have been incredibly lucky to have Drew lead the city as he has for these many years. It also goes without saying that in addition to being a superb city manager, and I think I probably speak for each of us, Drew is my dear friend. Indeed, he's my brother. And although a much, much, much older brother. And he, in truth, he has, over these many years, brought out, sometimes with great effort, the better angels of my nature. And I think the better angels of the nature of this council and this community. So it is with great affection and with a heavy heart that we make now, which is the most difficult decision, and I think critical decision that this council has confronted since we hired Drew. And that is identifying and hiring a successor. Now, we have the great benefit in that task that Drew has around him a staff that I epitomize the culture, the good competence and effort and will of this city and this council and this organization. And so this council has seen fit to seek to continue that culture by hiring a city manager internally. And of course, we've gone through an exhaustive internal evaluation. Frankly, the staff went through an exhaustive evaluation of our entire organization. And then subsequent to that, and as part and parcel of that, presented to staff the individuals who might well succeed Drew as city manager. Council considered that information and with great difficulty determined that there were two individuals who were the most likely and best fit successors. I say with great difficulty because, of course, we have a great number of very qualified individuals in the city who could well do the job. Having said that, those two individuals we identified had, and I won't call them shortcomings, but had obstacles to their elevating to the position of city manager. The first was Mr. Randy Osterman, who's our chief of the fire department. And the principal obstacle that Randy had, he's certainly fantastically qualified, a great leader, has done a fantastic job at the fire department, but we all understood that Randy was nearing retirement and had the expectation that at some point in the not too distant future that he would be retiring. The second individual that we needed to was Mr. Michael Hemingway, the director of our utility. Now, of course, we all understand that the utility represents half of the budget of the city of Florence. It is enormously important to this organization. And in addition to providing crucial infrastructure for the well-being of our community and for economic development, it's also founded the financial backbone of other efforts we've made, including in the area of downtown redevelopment. However, Michael's only shortcoming was replacing Michael. He has, in order to elevate to the position of city manager, to identify and train and hire his successor, which, as we understand, is no small deal. The job of a utility director is so sought after in the state and the region that these folks are often hired away, and it's extraordinarily difficult to find and train a person to do that critically important job. Also, Michael has the task of commencing the design and construction of a second wastewater treatment plant. That alone is an enormous task. And we all recognize that placing on him the responsibilities of city manager while at the same time asking him to identify and hire and train his successor and to commence the design and the early critical decisions with regard to the wastewater treatment plant was more than anyone could be expected to do. Happily, the obstacles that both these individuals had meshed up pretty nicely. And so this council has determined, and I have recommended, that the most prudent course in order to maintain the culture of this organization and its future stability is to create what amounts to a succession plan. That is to say, to enter into 2 contracts, the first with Randy Osterman to perform the duties of the city manager, to be succeeded by Michael Hemingway, with whom we will execute a separate contract. Now, council and staff have been through the process of evaluating this from a policy and a legal perspective. We've gotten good counsel from our city attorney, Mr. Jim Peterson, as well as from Mr. Danny Crow, who's well known for his expertise, particularly in municipal law around the state. We are confident, I am confident, that not only is this a prudent course, that it's a legal course, and that it's one that offers the best opportunity and the best hope for continuing the culture and the success of the city and maintaining its stability and its momentum. Having said that, you all have before you, I don't know if we have a resolution, Mr. Peterson. All right, then Mr. Peterson advised me that all that's required then is a motion to execute those contracts as discussed and have been discussed in executive session. Is there a motion?
I so move.
There's a motion by Councilwoman Moore. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Irvin, and I think by the pro tem as well. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Measure passes unanimously. The next matter that remains then on the agenda is not necessary. That's the introduction of ordinance that has been addressed and taken care of without the need of an ordinance. So having said that, if there's no further business, is there a motion we adjourn? Without objection, we stand adjourned.
Thank you all.